Stepping in my 4-inch heels, I walked step by step into the hotel kitchen. The head chef saw me, hastily removed his hat, and lowered his voice. "Sophia, what brings you here? Everyone's been looking for you." "I'm here to check on the wedding cake." I forced a smile, knowing full well the wedding cake would never be kept in the hotel kitchen. Walking past rows of metal racks, I pushed open the innermost door. The sight I dreaded instantly crashed into view. Ethan was embracing my assistant, Lily, their lips locked. Lily's soft moans made my stomach churn. "Ethan, what are you doing?" My voice was eerily calm. They abruptly pulled apart. A flicker of panic crossed Ethan's face, but he quickly regained his composure. "Sophia, what are you doing here?" Lily, however, was brazen, immediately hiding behind Ethan and staring at me defiantly. "My being here isn't important. What is important is what my fiancé and my assistant are doing here." Ethan straightened his shirt and walked towards me. "Don't make a scene." Lily was just a bit nervous, and I was comforting her. "Comforting her with your mouth?" I sneered, my eyes fixed on Lily. The assistant who had been with me for 3 years now wore a victorious smile. Ethan tried to explain further, but I raised my hand, cutting him off. "Enough. Our wedding is next week. Are you so eager to make a fool of me in front of all of Newport City?" "Sophia, you've misunderstood." Ethan grabbed my hand. "I only love you. Lily, she." I shook off his hand, interrupting him. "Are you going to explain that she was the one who initiated it? Or that you acted on impulse?" Lily then stepped forward and directly linked her arm through Ethan's. "Sophia, Ethan and I are truly in love. He was already planning to break up with you, but he delayed it because of the collaboration between our 2 companies." I looked at Ethan, waiting for him to refute her, but he simply lowered his head, tacitly agreeing with Lily's words. "Fine, very well." I nodded, then suddenly smiled. "Ethan, it seems you're playing both sides. On one hand, you want to marry me and gain access to the Hayes' resources, and on the other, you're having an affair with my assistant. Clever, aren't you?" Ethan finally looked up, his eyes gleaming with shrewd calculation. "Sophia, let's talk." "There's nothing to talk about." I turned to leave. Ethan grabbed my arm. "Don't be impulsive. If you call off the engagement now, what about the collaboration between the Hayes and the Landis? How will you explain it to Robert?" This was his true face. He never loved me, he only wanted the Hayes' resources. 5 years of a relationship, and in his eyes, it was nothing more than a transaction. "Ethan, don't worry. The wedding won't be cancelled," I said calmly. Walking out of the hotel, I immediately dialed a number. A deep, magnetic male voice answered from the other end. "Sophia, what can I do for you?" "Oliver, let's meet. I have a proposal I believe you'll find interesting." Oliver, the Landis' biggest rival, I never thought I'd voluntarily contact him. "What's the proposal?" He was clearly curious. "I want Ethan to lose everything." Oliver arranged to meet me at his private club. Pushing open the door, a man in a dark gray suit stood before the floor-to-ceiling windows, his back to me, gently swirling a glass of red wine. Hearing the sound, he turned, his gaze as sharp as a hawk's. "Sophia, I've heard much about you." Oliver gestured for me to sit down. "To be honest, I'm quite surprised you sought me out." "Oliver, I'm equally surprised to be here myself." I calmly took a seat opposite him. "But I believe we have a common enemy." Oliver smiled, poured a glass of wine, and handed it to me. "Ethan?" "Yes." "What did he do to anger the Hayes' darling so much? Cheated before the wedding?" I took a sip of wine, not answering directly. "Oliver, I know the Landis has recently been bidding on the Sioux family's medical project, and you're very interested in it as well. So? I can help you secure this project, and I can provide you with the Landis' core client list." Oliver's eyes flickered. "What's the price?" "Help me destroy Ethan." I met his gaze directly. "Not just professionally, but I want him deified and abandoned by everyone." "Interesting." Oliver set down his glass. "But why me?" "The family has deep roots in Newport City, you could easily handle this yourself." "Because I want more than just revenge, I want to utterly destroy him." "I know about the animosity between you two, Oliver. You and Ethan are sworn enemies, aren't you?" Oliver's eyes instantly turned cold. "You investigated me?" "I just did my homework." I calmly replied. "Your former fiancé was lured away by Ethan, and later she passed away tragically. You've been looking for an opportunity to get back at him all these years, but with Robert's backing for the Landis, you never had a chance." Oliver remained silent for a long moment, then suddenly revealed a dangerous smile. "Sophia, do you know you're playing with fire? Once you start, there's no turning back." "I know." Then what about the collaboration between the Landis and the Hayes? The cooperation will continue as usual, until the day of Ethan's and my wedding. Oliver narrowed his eyes. So the wedding isn't cancelled? Not only will it not be cancelled, but it will be as grand as possible. I sneered. I want to expose his true nature in front of everyone. Oliver suddenly leaned closer, his finger lightly tracing my cheek. You're a formidable woman, Sophia. I agree to the collaboration, but I have a condition. What condition? On the day of the wedding, I'll be the one to expose Ethan. Oliver's gaze held an undeniable force. In front of everyone. I thought for a moment. All right, but I'll need your plan. No rush. Oliver stood up, walked to a safe nearby, and retrieved a document. Sign this first. What is it? A collaboration agreement. He smiled. It's a business's habit, everything needs to be in writing. I took the document and quickly skimmed through it. Oliver promised to completely destroy Ethan within 3 months, on the condition that I provide the Landis' core client information and project progress, along with an additional condition that surprised me. After the wedding, you want to date me for a month? I raised an eyebrow. Oliver, you're taking advantage of the situation. No, this is called maximizing profits. Oliver flashed a charming smile. I help you get your revenge, and I get a dating opportunity. It's perfectly fair. I scoffed. Oliver, did you forget that the reason I want revenge is because Ethan cheated? Do you really think I'd still have any positive feelings for men? Then consider it an additional punishment. Oliver shrugged dismissively. Since you want to ruin your esteemed fiancé, wouldn't dating his sworn enemy provoke him even more? I pondered for a moment, then finally signed my name. Deal. Oliver put away the document, his tone suddenly gentle. Aren't you going to ask why I'm helping you? Businessmen pursue profit. I've given you enough. He chuckled. Perhaps I simply want to help a woman who has been wronged. There's no such thing as kindness without reason in this world. Then consider it an investment in love at first sight. Oliver's gaze was direct and ardent. I merely gave him a cold glance. Oliver, cut the act. All I need right now is revenge. Anything else is off the table. Leaving the club, I received over a dozen messages and missed phone calls from Ethan. I coldly replied with a message. Ethan, don't worry. I won't let you down. Back at the company, Lily was casually standing at my office door, looking as if she had something to say but couldn't quite voice it. Sophia, about what happened today, you're fired. I cut her off, pulling out a stack of documents. Before you leave, organize these data and hand them over to me. Also, sign this non-disclosure agreement, or I'll have my lawyers sue you for corporate espionage. Lily's face instantly went pale, but she quickly regained her composure. Sophia, you know I have a lot of confidential information about your core projects. Do you really want to treat me this way? Threatening me? I sneered. Be my guest. You're welcome to hand over the information to Ethan, but don't forget, the Hayes and the Landis are still in a cooperative relationship right now. Your actions would only harm Ethan's interests. Lily bit her lip, and finally took the documents. I'll handle the work handover properly. But, Ethan truly loves me. I wish you both well. I replied perfunctorily, turned, walked into my office, and closed the door behind me. Just as I sat down, my phone rang. It was Ethan. Sophia, let's talk. Ethan's voice was low. How about the garden for lunch? Sure, I have something to tell you too. I answered nonchalantly. After hanging up the phone, Robert's call followed immediately. Sophia, I just heard you and Ethan are having some issues? Robert, it's nothing. Just a small disagreement between a couple. I feigned lightness. It'll be resolved soon. The wedding is approaching. Don't cause any embarrassment. Robert said calmly. The family's collaboration is very important to us. I know, don't worry. Hanging up the phone, I took a deep breath, opened my laptop, and began to organize a special document. It contained all of the Landis' illicit transaction records from recent years. These were the compromising records I had secretly collected on Ethan over the years, originally just to protect myself, but now they were coming in handy. At noon, I arrived at the garden on time. Ethan was already waiting for me in the private room. Sophia. He stood up, intending to take my hand, but I avoided him. Just say what you need to say. I sat down, my voice calm. Ethan sighed. What happened today was a misunderstanding. Lily actively seduced me, and I lost control. For a moment. I promise you, nothing like this will ever happen again. I smiled faintly. So you admit you had an affair with Lily? It's not like that. Ethan hastily defended himself. It was just that one time, I swear. All right, I believe you. I agreed with unexpected readiness. Ethan was visibly stunned for a moment. Really? Of course. I took a sip of tea. But I have a condition. What condition? Lily has to leave. Ethan hesitated for a moment. Alright, I agree. Also, the prenuptial agreement needs to be redrafted. I want to add a clause. If either party cheats, leading to divorce, the other party receives 70% of the joint assets. This clause clearly hit Ethan's bottom line. He frowned. Sophia, this is too much. Our family business shares. What? Are you planning to keep cheating? I retorted coldly. Ethan fell silent for a moment, then finally nodded. Alright, but I'll need other conditions to balance it out. State them. After we marry, you must resign as CEO of the Hayes and devote yourself entirely to our family. I almost burst out laughing. He was still so greedy, wanting to control the Hayes through marriage. I can consider it. I feigned reluctance as I agreed. However, I'll need time to prepare, at the very earliest, half a year after the wedding. Ethan nodded with satisfaction, raising his glass. Cheers to our reconciliation. I drank the wine with him, but in my heart, I was calculating when Oliver's plan would begin. Leaving the restaurant, I received a message from Oliver. 8 p.m. tonight, same location. Bring all your materials. The plan officially begins. At 8 p.m. that evening, I returned to Oliver's private club. This time, I brought a USB drive. What's in here? Oliver took the USB drive. The corporation's core client list, and some of Ethan's shady dealings over the years. Oliver looked slightly surprised. You were prepared for this? Just planning ahead. I replied calmly. I never do any ing without a solid plan. Oliver inserted the USB drive and scrolled through the contents. A hint of admiration flashed in his eyes. Sophia, I must say, you're far more ruthless than I imagined. The feeling's mutual. I smiled. So, what's the plan? Oliver closed his laptop. First, we need to make Ethan drop his guard. Then, on the eve of the wedding, we'll slowly tighten the noose. In the following days, Ethan and I outwardly resumed our normal routine. He sent flowers daily, messaged me, playing the role of the remorseful fiancé to perfection. And I, in turn, perfectly played the role of the placated fiancé, continuing to prepare for the wedding. Lily voluntarily resigned, and Ethan secretly arranged for her to go to a subsidiary of the Landis. He thought I was unaware. Little did he know every move he made was under my surveillance. That afternoon, Oliver suddenly appeared in my office. Oliver, this is quite a surprise. I gestured for my secretary to close the door. I have good news to tell you in person. Oliver sat down, a hint of triumph on his lips. The family's medical project, the Landis lost. I raised an eyebrow. That quickly? The client list you provided was very useful. Oliver explained. We specifically proposed a more favorable cooperation plan, and the Landis simply couldn't compete. Ant's reaction? Absolutely furious. Oliver chuckled. Apparently, he ripped them to shreds. I nodded, a flicker of satisfaction in my heart, but outwardly remained calm. This is just the first step. Of course. Oliver pulled out a document. This is our next plan, in 3 steps. First, we'll cut off the Landis' capital flow. Second, we'll poach his core team. And third, we'll expose the scandal on the wedding day. I carefully read the plan. I had to admit Oliver was truly astute. Is there enough time? The wedding is only 2 weeks away? Plenty of time. Oliver replied confidently. In fact, the first step has already begun. The corporation's stock price fell 8% today. Why? Rumors of financial fraud within the Landis suddenly circulated in the market. Oliver spread his hands. I just gave it a little push. I smiled faintly. Oliver, you truly act with swift decisiveness. At your service. Oliver suddenly turned serious. However, there's something I need your cooperation on. What is it? Ethan will definitely suspect I'm behind this. He might come to you for information next. I'll need you to cover for me. I nodded. No problem. Oliver stood up, preparing to leave, but paused at the door. By the way, the Sue family is hosting a charity gala this Saturday night. Will you be there? Yes, Ethan will be there too. Perfect, I'll be attending as well. Oliver gave me a meaningful glance. I look forward to seeing you again, Sophia. Sure enough, that evening Ethan called me. His voice was full of anger. Sophia, have you heard? That bastard Oliver stole the Sue family's project. I heard. What a shame. I feigned sympathy. Someone must have leaked our bidding proposal. Ethan said furiously. The company has already started an investigation. Could it be your assistant, Lily? I deliberately mentioned Lily. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone call. Impossible. She's been transferred, she has no access to this project. That's strange then, I said softly. By the way, did you know? One of the Hayes' board members mentioned at a dinner today that Oliver has been aggressively poaching talent recently. Apparently, he's offering 2, even 3 times the salaries. What? Ethan's voice abruptly rose. Who are they targeting? I'm not sure, but I heard they're mainly targeting executives in the finance and medical sectors. Ethan cursed under his breath. That son of a bitch, he's definitely coming after us. Don't get angry, I soothed. I can try to find out the specifics for you. Good, let me know as soon as you have any news. Ethan calmed down a bit. By the way, are you coming with me to the charity gala on Saturday? Of course, I've already prepared my gown. After hanging up, I sent a message to Oliver. The fish took the bait. Saturday evening, I appeared at the charity gala in a dark red gown, with Ethan's arm linked in mine. As soon as we entered, I saw Oliver talking with several entrepreneurs. He wore a perfectly tailored black suit, exuding an authoritative aura. When his eyes met mine, the corners of his lips subtly lifted, and he raised his glass in a gesture. Ethan noticed the small gesture, and tightened his arm around me in annoyance. He's provoking me. Ignore him. I soothed. It's a charity gala tonight, don't cause trouble. Shortly after we were seated, the MC of the gala announced some news. Tonight's largest donor, Mr. Oliver, from the Sterling, has contributed $50 million to the children's medical. The entire room erupted in enthusiastic applause. Oliver stood up to acknowledge it. His speech was brief and impactful, winning over everyone present. Meanwhile, Ethan's face grew increasingly grim. That bastard. Ethan muttered under his breath. He clearly knows I only donate $20 million annually. I chuckled inwardly. Oliver's move was indeed brilliant. Not only did it establish a positive corporate image, but it also indirectly struck a blow at Ethan. Midway through the gala, Oliver surprisingly walked over to our table. Ethan, Sophia, good evening. Ethan nodded coldly. Oliver, you were truly generous tonight. Just a small effort. Oliver replied modestly, but his gaze shifted to me. Sophia, your gown is beautiful, as dazzling as a flame. Thank you. I smiled. Ethan clearly sensed Oliver's unusual behavior, and cautiously put his arm around my shoulder. Oliver, I heard you've been aggressively poaching talent lately? Just normal talent mobility. Oliver said dismissively. Talented individuals naturally move to better platforms, don't they? Ethan's face was ashen. Just as he was about to retort, a waiter suddenly approached and quietly informed him of an urgent phone call. Ethan had no choice but to temporarily excuse himself. Oliver immediately took Ethan's seat. The plan is progressing smoothly. The corporation's stock price has fallen for 3 consecutive days. He's certainly been anxious lately. I responded in a low voice. But he's not at a breaking point yet. No rush. Oliver smiled mysteriously. Just wait for tomorrow's news. What did you do? Oliver leaned closer and whispered in my ear. The corporation's second largest shareholder has agreed to sell his shares to me. I looked at him in surprise. How is that possible? Old has always been fiercely loyal to Ethan. Everyone is driven by self-interest, after all. A cunning glint sparkled in Oliver's eyes. I offered him a price he couldn't refuse. In that moment, I gained a new understanding of Oliver's methods. He was even more decisive and ruthless than I had imagined. You truly hate Ethan. I wasn't asking a question, I was stating a fact. Oliver's eyes suddenly turned glacial. He ruined the person I loved most. I wish I could make his life a living hell. Just then, Ethan returned, his face incredibly grim. Oliver, get away from her. Oliver calmly stood up. If you'll excuse me, I wish you both a pleasant evening. After sat down, he said, almost gnashing his teeth. There's trouble at the company. Miller is selling his shares. I feigned surprise. How could this be? Wasn't he an old loyalist who built the company with Robert? I don't know, but I suspect Oliver is behind this. Ethan clenched his fist. We have to stop him, or the Landis will be in danger. Do you need my help? I asked softly. Perhaps can persuade Uncle. Ethan's eyes lit up. Can he? I can try. I agreed with a smile, but I was sneering inwardly. The next morning, the financial headlines blared, Landis in crisis, second largest to sell amidst capital break. Ethan called early in the morning, his voice full of anxiety. Sophia, the situation is far worse than we imagined. Miller refuses to see anyone, including Robert. I tried contacting Robert. He said he'd do his best but couldn't guarantee anything. I feigned worry. Ethan, what exactly happened? The stock price crashed, hitting the circuit breaker. Ethan was practically roaring. The company's market value plummeted by nearly $1 billion overnight. Calm down. We'll figure this out together. No, I need to go to the company to handle the crisis. Ethan abruptly hung up the phone. Putting down my phone, I sent a message to Oliver. Your methods are truly ruthless. Oliver quickly replied. This is just the beginning. At 3 p.m. today, the Landis' core technical team will submit a mass resignation. Indeed, just after 3 p.m., financial news broke that 15 senior executives from the Landis' technology department had submitted a mass resignation. The stock price plummeted again, directly hitting the second circuit breaker. Ethan called again, his voice hoarse. Sophia, the company is on the verge of collapse. I need the Hayes' support. Could you ask Robert to inject capital into the Landis? I'll do my best to persuade him. I promised. But you know, that kind of decision isn't mine to make. I know, but you're my only hope. Ethan's voice held a vulnerability I had never heard before. I can't just stand by and watch Robert's life's work be destroyed. Hanging up the phone, I sneered. When he was secretly involved with Lily behind my back, why didn't he consider my feelings then? Now it was his turn to taste despair. That evening, Robert convened a family board meeting to discuss the Landis' crisis. The corporation is in a very precarious situation right now, Robert said gravely. We have several ongoing collaborations with them. If the Landis collapses, the Hayes will also be implicated. Uncle frowned. So, we should support the Landis? No, I think we should. Why? TNC. I spoke, and all eyes turned to me. The corporation's crisis isn't accidental. It's the result of mismanagement and blind expansion. Rushing to inject capital now would be like throwing good money after bad. Sophia has a point. Uncle nodded. Besides, your wedding to Ethan is imminent. After the marriage, the two families will naturally be one. What's the rush now? Robert pondered for a moment. Then we'll decide this. No immediate capital injection, but we'll publicly express support for the Landis to weather this storm. Sophia, reassure Ethan and don't let him get too anxious. Understood. After the meeting, I called Ethan back. I honestly informed him of the family's decision. Ethan remained silent for a long time after hearing it. All right then, I understand Uncle's considerations. However, let's proceed with the wedding as planned. Perhaps it can send a positive signal to the market. Are you sure? I feigned surprise. The company's situation is so dire right now, and you still want a grand wedding? Precisely because of this, we need to show confidence even more. Ethan forced himself to rally. Don't worry, everything will be fine. After hanging up the phone, I sent a message to Oliver. Ethan decided to hold the wedding as planned. He believes it will instill confidence in the market. Oliver quickly replied. Excellent, that's exactly what I wanted. Get ready, there's going to be quite a show on the wedding day. In the following days, the Landis' crisis further deteriorated. The media exposed financial fraud issues in multiple Landis projects. Regulatory authorities launched an investigation, and several banks tightened loans to the Landis. As for me, I played the role of the innocent, naive fiancé, comforting Ethan on one hand, and continuing to prepare for the wedding on the other. The day before the wedding, as I was doing a final check at the hotel, Oliver suddenly appeared. Tomorrow's the big day. Are you nervous? He asked Rom behind me. Ethan should be the nervous one, not me. I replied without turning around. Oliver chuckled. Are you really planning to marry him? Even if it's a sham wedding? Of course not. I turned to face him. The wedding will only proceed halfway before you interrupt it, won't it? Clever. Oliver nodded approvingly. He took a USB drive from his pocket. This contains all the evidence needed for tomorrow, including intimate photos of Ethan and Lily, and proof of his embezzlement. Are you sure this will be a knockout blow? Absolutely. Oliver said solemnly. After tomorrow, Ethan will be disfigured and have no chance of recovery. I nodded, then suddenly asked, by the way, you never told me, how exactly did your fiancé die? Oliver's eyes instantly darkened. After dumped her, she developed depression. 6 months later, she committed suicide by jumping from Hayes. I'm sorry to hear that. Don't be. Oliver took my hand. Tomorrow, we will get justice for her. Watching walk away, I suddenly felt a surge of anticipation for tomorrow's wedding. Not because I was about to become a bride, but because the thrill of revenge was imminent. On the wedding day, the weather was exceptionally good. At 6 in the morning, the stylist and makeup artist began to prepare me. In the mirror, I wore a white gown, my makeup exquisite, looking like a happy bride. Only I knew the intense thrill of revenge swirling within me. Sophia, you're breathtaking. The makeup artist exclaimed admiringly. Ethan will definitely be speechless today. I smiled faintly. I hope so. At 8 o'clock, Robert came to pick me up. Sophia, are you ready? Robert, I'm a little nervous. I feigned apprehension. Robert patted my shoulder. Don't be afraid. Getting married is a big life event, and it's normal to be nervous. Ethan is a good man, he'll take good care of you. If you knew what kind of person he truly was, would you still say that? I sneered inwardly. At 9 o'clock, the wedding in convoy majestically drove towards the five-star hotel. Outside the hotel, reporters and guests filled the area, and flashing cameras flickered incessantly. Ethan, in a white suit, stood at the hotel entrance, wearing a perfect smile on his face. But only I knew how much anxiety and calculation lay hidden beneath that smile. You look beautiful. He held my hand and whispered in my ear. Today will be a perfect day. I returned his smile. I hope so. The wedding was held in the hotel's largest ballroom, luxuriously and elegantly decorated. Over 400 guests were already seated, including many of Newport City's elite and business titans. Oliver was there too, seated in an inconspicuous corner, raising his glass in a silent toast to me. At precisely 10 o'clock, the wedding officially began. I walked arm in arm with Robert, slowly making my way towards the other end of the red carpet. There stood Ethan, impeccably dressed in his suit, his face beaming with a victor's smile. Halfway down the aisle, I noticed Oliver quietly getting up and leaving. The plan had begun. The MC loudly announced, "Today, we are here to witness the union of Mr. Ethan and Mississippi." Applause thundered through the ballroom. Ethan held my hand, his eyes filled with tenderness. If I hadn't personally seen him with Lily, I would have almost been fooled by his performance. "Mr. Ethan, do you take Miss to be your wife, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do you part?" Ethan looked at me with deep affection. "I do." The MC turned to me. "Miss, do you take Mr. Ethan to be your husband, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do you part?" I took a deep breath, about to answer, when the ballroom doors suddenly burst open. Oliver strode in. "I object to this wedding." His voice was loud and firm. The entire room gasped. Guests murmured amongst themselves. Ethan's face was ashen. "Oliver, are you insane? This is my wedding." Oliver remained unfazed, continuing to walk forward. "Ethan, you don't deserve Sophia." "Security! Get him out of here!" Ethan roared. Several security guards rushed forward, but they were blocked by the people behind Oliver. Oliver walked up to Ethan and me, took a remote control from his pocket, and pressed a button. The ballroom's large screen suddenly lit up, displaying footage of Ethan and Lily intimately embracing in the hotel kitchen. The image was clear, and the audio was perfectly audible. "Completely ruin Sophia, and then I can marry you," Ethan said to Lily in the video. "We'll enjoy the Hayes family's assets together." The entire room erupted in an uproar. Guests' astonished gazes flitted between Ethan and me. Ethan's face was ashen. This is fake. There's more." Oliver sneered. The screen switched to another set of videos. Ethan was in his office, discussing how to manipulate financial data and how to use the marriage to control the Hayes. Robert abruptly stood up, glaring at Ethan. "You scoundrel." Ethan panicked, turning to me. "Sophia, I can explain, this is all a misunderstanding." I looked at him coldly. "Explain what? How you betrayed me, or how you used me? It's not like that." Ethan grabbed my hand. Oliver framed me. I shook off his hand. "Enough, Ethan. I've known everything all along. This wedding was nothing more than a play staged just for you." Ethan's eyes widened. "You and Oliver are working together?" "That's right." I smiled. "From the moment you betrayed me, I decided to destroy you." The guests watched the scene in shock, and media reporters frantically took photos and videos. Just then, several police officers walked in. "Mr. Ethan, you are suspected of financial fraud and embezzlement. Please come with us." Ethan's face turned ghastly pale, and he turned to me. "Stop. Hia, please help me. For the sake of our 5 years together." 5 years together? I sneered. "When you were fooling around with Lily, why didn't you think of those 5 years then?" Before was led away, he cast one last glance at me. His eyes were a mix of resentment, despair, and disbelief. The wedding ended in utter chaos. Guests gradually departed, leaving only Oliver, my family, and me. Robert walked over to me. "Sophia, you knew Ethan's true nature all along?" "Yes, Robert." I nodded. "But I couldn't tell you without proof, so I set up this trap." Robert sighed. You've been wronged. However, this matter was handled well, preventing the Hays from being implicated. I turned to Oliver. Thank you for your help. Oliver smiled. Pleasure doing business with you. Don't forget your promise. Robert looked at us with a puzzled expression. You two know each other? It's a long story. I smiled. I'll explain it to you another day. The day after the wedding scandal, Ethan's scandal dominated the headlines of major media outlets. High society turns into exposure of affair, Landis heir with fiancé's assistant wedding double, Landis suspected of financial, Ethan for investigation by police from tycoon to prisoner, Ethan's downfall. I sat in my office, watching the news and sipping coffee. My phone rang. It was Oliver. Seen the news? His voice held undisguised triumph. Yes, the effect is quite good. I replied coolly. Are you free tonight? It's time to honor our dating agreement. I paused for a moment. 7 o'clock, same place. After hanging up the phone, my secretary hurried in. Sophia, Eleanor is outside and wishes to see you. I raised an eyebrow. Eleanor? Show her in. A moment later, a weary-looking middle-aged woman walked in. It was Ethan's mother. Sophia. Her voice choked. Please, I beg you, help Ethan. I gestured for her to sit down. Eleanor, the mistakes your son committed are not something I can help with. I know he made mistakes. But he's still young, and it was a moment of folly. Eleanor's face was streaked with tears. For the sake of the past 5 years we've shared, please let him go. I sneered. 5 years we've shared? The moment he decided to betray me, that sentiment ceased to exist. But he truly loves you. Love me? I interrupted her. That's love, I'd rather he hated me. Eleanor knelt down. I beg you, our family is already ruined. If goes to jail again, the Liu family will be completely finished. I stood up and helped her. Eleanor, please don't do this. Ethan is reaping what he sowed. It has nothing to do with me. If you really want to help him, go find a lawyer. Don't come begging me. After seeing Eleanor off, my mood wasn't as light as I'd imagined. The thrill of revenge was fading, replaced by an inexplicable emptiness. At 7 in the evening, I arrived at Oliver's private club as agreed. Oliver had already prepared dinner, candlelight, fine wine, exquisite dishes. Everything was perfect. Cheers to our success. Oliver raised his glass. I lightly clinked glasses with him. How many years was Ethan sentenced to? 15 years, Oliver replied. Financial fraud and embezzlement, defrauding investors, enough charges to put him away for a long time. I nodded, saying nothing. Oliver keenly noticed my distraction. What's wrong? Not happy? I just feel a bit empty, I confessed. After the revenge, I don't know what to do anymore. Oliver put down his wine glass and looked at me seriously. Sophia, our partnership has been great, but have you ever considered that we could have more? What do you mean? I like you, Oliver said straightforwardly. Not because of revenge, but because of who you are. You're intelligent, strong, and decisive, exactly the type I admire. I looked at him in surprise. Oliver, are you serious? Never been more serious. He took my hand. Give us a chance, okay? I hesitated. Oliver was indeed charming, but after Ethan's betrayal, I had lost faith in love. I need time to think, I finally said. Oliver wasn't disappointed. I understand. I'll wait for you. For now, at least, let's enjoy this dinner, okay? Dinner was pleasant. Oliver was an excellent conversationalist, witty, insightful, and well-traveled. Talking with him, I even forgot the emptiness I felt after the revenge. After dinner, Oliver drove me home. In the car, he suddenly asked, do you have any plans for tomorrow? No, why? I have a suggestion. Oliver smiled. Since our revenge is complete, why don't we start a new partnership? What kind of partnership? Business-related, Oliver explained. With the Hua and the Gu joining forces, we could become the strongest business alliance in Newport City. I thought for a moment. Sounds good, but it needs to be discussed at a family board meeting. Of course. Oliver nodded. I'll prepare a formal proposal. After arriving home, Oliver gentlemanly opened the door for me. Good night, Sophia. I look forward to our next meeting. I nodded. Good night. As soon as I entered, Robert came over. With? Yes, discussing some things. Robert looked thoughtful. He's interested in you? I was surprised by Robert's perceptiveness. How did you know? I'm old, but my eyes aren't blind yet, Robert chuckled. On the wedding day, the way he looked at you, it wasn't just as a business partner. I sighed. Dad, I'm really confused about relationships right now. Then don't rush, take your time. Robert patted my shoulder. But, he's a much better man than Ethan. The next day, I received a bouquet of roses and a document, Oliver's partnership proposal. The proposal was detailed and thorough. Clearly, he had put a lot of thought into it. As I was studying the proposal, my secretary informed me of a visitor, Lily. I sneered, "Let her in." Lily walked into the office, looking haggard, yet with an unyielding stubbornness in her eyes. "Sophia," she said bluntly, "I came to tell you that Ethan was framed." All those videos were Oliver's doing. I scoffed. "Really? So your intimacy with Ethan in the hotel kitchen was also fake?" Lily bit her lip. "That was real, but Ethan truly loved me. So you admit he betrayed me?" I cut her off coldly. "That's enough. As for the other accusations, the court will decide them, you don't need to tell me." Lily suddenly knelt down. "Sophia, please help Ethan. He knows he made a mistake. It's too late." I stood up and walked to her. "Lily, do you know? The most ridiculous thing is that Ethan was even using you." "What do you mean?" I took out my phone and played an audio recording. It was a conversation between Ethan and a friend. He said Lily was just a plaything to him, and what he really wanted was the goo's resources. After listening, Lily's face turned pale. This can't be true. To deceive yourself for so long, you're truly pitiful," I said coldly. "Now, please leave my office." After staggered out, I received a message from Oliver, 7 p.m., the International. "I have a surprise for you." At 7 in the evening, I arrived at the International on time. Pushing open the private room door, I was surprised to find only Oliver inside. On the table lay a bouquet of roses and a small box. "What's this?" I asked as I approached. Oliver smiled, stood up, and pulled out a chair for me. "A small gift. I hope you like it." I opened the box to find an exquisite diamond necklace, sparkling captivatingly under the light. "It's too valuable, I can't accept it." I closed the box. Oliver chuckled. "Don't be so quick to refuse. Look at the back of the necklace." I flipped the pendant over. Engraved on it was a small inscription, "To my revenge partner, a memento for a new beginning." I was speechless for a moment. "It's not just a gift, but a memento," Oliver explained. "To commemorate our successful revenge, and to commemorate the start of your new life." I was touched by his thoughtfulness. After a moment of hesitation, I nodded. "Thank you, I really like it." Oliver personally put the necklace on me, his fingers brushing lightly against my neck, making me shiver involuntarily. "Perfect," he praised, then poured 2 glasses of red wine. "Cheers to new beginnings." I clinked glasses with him and took a small sip. "Oliver, I want to know, were you truly just seeking revenge for your fiancé?" Oliver put down his glass, his gaze deepening. "At first, yes. But then, I found myself drawn to you. Your courage, intelligence, and resilience, I admire all of it. So that dating clause. It was my excuse," Oliver confessed. "I wanted to get to know you more, not just as a revenge partner." Just then, my phone suddenly rang. It was an unknown number. "Hello? Sophia, I'm the attorney for the Lou." The other party's tone was serious. "Ethan committed suicide in detention." My hand holding the phone trembled slightly. "When did this happen?" "An hour ago. He left a letter, specifically addressed to you." After hanging up, my face turned pale. Oliver asked with concern, "What happened?" "Ethan committed suicide," I said with difficulty. Oliver was visibly stunned for a moment, then took my hand. "Are you all right?" "I don't know," I confessed. "I hated him, but I never imagined he would take his own life." "This isn't your fault," Oliver comforted. "It was his choice. He left a letter for me," I said. "I need to go." Oliver nodded. "I'll go with you." Half an hour later, we arrived at the detention center. The lawyer handed me a letter, which I opened with Oliver by my side. "Sophia, by the time you read this letter, I will be gone. I know it's too late to say I'm sorry, but I still have to say it. I'm sorry. I betrayed your trust and love. For all these years, I only saw you as a tool to gain the goo's resources, and I never truly loved you. But after losing everything, I finally understood how unforgivable my mistakes were. I don't ask for your forgiveness, I only hope you can find someone who truly loves you in the future. Finally, I want to tell you a truth. Lily is pregnant with my child, and that was one of the reasons I ultimately chose to be with her. I hope you can treat her well. Goodbye, Ethan." After reading the letter, my tears flowed uncontrollably. I wasn't crying for Ethan, but for the 5 years of my life and emotions I had wasted. Oliver gently held me. "It's all right. Everything is over now." Back in the car, I was silent for a long time before finally speaking. "Oliver, I need some time to calm down." "I understand." He nodded. "Do you need me to drive you home?" No, I want to walk alone. Oliver respected my decision. Okay, call me anytime if you need anything. For the next week, I practically locked myself in my office, handling company affairs, not allowing myself any time to think about Ethan's death. Robert came to see me, saying worriedly, Sophia, you can't go on like this. Ethan's death isn't your fault. I know, Dad. I forced a smile. I just need time to adjust. He's been asking about you, Robert said thoughtfully. He seems very concerned. I sighed. He's a good man, but right now I'm not sure what I want. Take your time, no rush. Robert patted my shoulder. But don't push everyone away, okay? I nodded. That evening, I sent Oliver a text message. Sorry for the lack of contact recently. I need some space. Oliver replied quickly. I understand, but don't forget, you're not alone. For some reason, this simple message brought a warmth to my heart. The next day, I received a package. Opening it, I found a book, Healing the Soul, with a card attached. Hope this book helps you. Oliver. I opened the book and found that Oliver had made some annotations in the margins, highlighting passages he thought would be helpful to me. This thoughtfulness deeply moved me. A few days later, Lily visited again, but this time not to ask for help, but to say goodbye. I'm leaving Newport City, she said calmly. I also bear some responsibility for Ethan's death. Where are you going? Back to her hometown, Lily said, stroking her not yet showing abdomen. I'll take good care of myself during the pregnancy, and then start fresh. I was silent for a moment, then took out my checkbook, wrote a check, and handed it to her. Take this, for the child to have a good start. Lily looked at me in surprise. Why? No reason, I said flatly. Consider it for the sake of that innocent child. Lily took the check, tears in her eyes. Thank you. Sophia, I'm truly sorry. Go, live well, I said, turning away and no longer looking at her. After seeing Lily off, I called Oliver. Are you free tonight? I'd like to treat you to dinner. Oliver's voice held a note of surprise. Of course I am. 8 o'clock, sea and sky on the waterfront. My treat. I'll be there. At 8 in the evening, I arrived at Sea and Sky on time. Oliver was already waiting in the private room. Seeing me enter, he immediately stood up to greet me. You look much better. I feel much better too, I said, smiling as I sat down. Thank you for the book, it was very helpful. You're welcome. Seeing you in better spirits puts my mind at ease. The waiter served our dishes, and we ate and chatted, keeping the conversation light and pleasant, deliberately avoiding Ethan's affairs. After a few rounds of drinks, I finally mustered the courage to ask, Oliver, do you remember when we first met, you said it was love at first sight for me? Was that true? Oliver put down his glass and looked at me seriously. Yes, although we met as partners then, I was indeed attracted to you. Even knowing I was Ethan's fiancé at the time? Perhaps it was precisely because of that I wanted to snatch you away from him even more, Oliver confessed. I admit, at first there was an element of getting revenge on Ethan, but soon, I was attracted to you yourself, your intelligence, courage, and resilience. I was silent for a moment, then quietly Sked, and now? The revenge is over, even excessively so. Ethan is dead. Do you still need me? Oliver reached out and took my hand. Sophia, what I've always wanted was never just revenge. After the revenge, I hoped even more to start a new life with you. But I hesitated. Our relationship was built on revenge. Can a beginning like that really lead to a good outcome? Why not? Oliver countered. We've both experienced betrayal and hurt. Perhaps precisely because of that, we can cherish each other more, couldn't we? His words made me thoughtful. Indeed, after Ethan's betrayal, I had become extremely cautious about relationships, but at the same time, I was better able to discern sincerity from deceit. Give me some time, okay? I finally said. This time, I want to be more careful. Of course. Oliver smiled. I'll wait for you, no matter how long it takes. As we left the restaurant, Oliver walked me to my car and suddenly said, Oh, by the way, I have some good news for you. What good news? We won the Sioux family's medical project, Oliver said with a smile. And, I'd like to invite the GU to be our partner in its development. I raised an eyebrow. Is this business or personal? Both, Oliver admitted frankly. But even if you reject my advances, this partnership invitation still stands. I admire your business acumen, and that won't change. His honesty made me feel favorable towards him. I'll consider it. Thank you for the invitation. Back home, I sat on the balcony, gazing at the stars in the night sky, my mind swirling with thoughts. Ethan's death gave me a new understanding of revenge. What I wanted wasn't his life, but his regret and admission of wrongdoing. Now, he had given me an answer in his own way, but it also left a wound that would never fully heal. As for Oliver, he had transformed from a revenge partner into a potential lover. Was this change too fast? Was I ready to accept a new relationship? That night, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. The next morning, Robert knocked and came in. "Sophia, you have a visitor." "Who?" "Lily." I went downstairs in surprise and found Lily sitting in the living room, her face pale. "What's wrong?" I asked. Lily handed me a USB drive. "This is what Ethan left for me. There are some things in it I think you should see." Back in my room, I inserted the USB drive. Inside were several videos and some photos. The first video showed Oliver secretly meeting with executives from the Lou, offering them high-paying positions to switch companies. The second video was a conversation between Oliver and a reporter about how to fabricate news of the Lou's financial fraud. And the most shocking was the third video, a conversation between Oliver and Lily, where Oliver gave Lily a large sum of money to seduce Ethan and gather evidence. After watching these materials, my hands trembled uncontrollably. Oliver's revenge was far deeper and more intricate than I had imagined. He didn't just exploit my anger towards Ethan, he meticulously planned the entire trap. Lily was his pawn, and I, quite possibly, was too. I immediately called Oliver. "We need to talk." "All right, when?" Oliver's voice was still gentle. "Now, at your office." Half an hour later, I stood in Oliver's office and placed the USB drive in front of him. "Explain this." Oliver glanced at the USB drive, his expression shifting slightly, but he quickly regained his composure. "It seems Ethan had one last trick up his sleeve. Is this true?" I looked him directly in the eyes. "You planned everything, including Lily seducing Ethan?" Oliver didn't deny it. "Yes, I admit it. But that doesn't change the fact, Ethan did betray you. But you manipulated the entire process." I questioned angrily. "You used my pain and anger, making me a part of your revenge scheme." Oliver stood up and walked towards me. "Sophia, I don't deny that I orchestrated all of this. But my feelings for you are real." "Real?" I sneered. "As real as UPLA. Ning Lily to seduce Ethan?" "It's different," Oliver explained urgently. "I did want to get revenge on Ethan, but after meeting you, everything changed. I fell in love with you. That's something I hadn't anticipated." I took a step back. "Oliver, do you know? I was starting to believe you, to believe that maybe we really could start a new life together. But now, I'm not sure which of your words are true." "All of it is true." Oliver took my hand. "I admit that my initial approach to you had a purpose, but later, I genuinely fell in love with you." I pulled my hand away from his. "I need time to think." Leaving's office, I went directly to Robert's study. "Dad, I need you to help me look into someone." "Oliver." "The more details, the better." Robert nodded. "I've always felt there was more to Oliver. Give me a week." A week later, Robert handed me a thick investigation report. "Oliver's past is far more complex than we knew," Robert said. "His grudge with Ethan goes far beyond just one fiancé." The report showed that Oliver and Ethan were once partners, founding their first company together. But on the eve of the company's IPO, Ethan colluded with investors, pushed Oliver out, and monopolized all the profits. Oliver was left with nothing and had to start over, vowing revenge on Ethan. As for the fiancé who committed suicide, she did exist, but she didn't take her own life because of Ethan. Rather, it was because she found out Oliver had approached her solely to get revenge on Ethan. I closed my eyes, feeling a wave of dizziness. Oliver and Ethan, each more hypocritical and ruthless than the other. And I had naively believed I could control the situation. That evening, I sent Oliver a message. "I know all the truth." Oliver quickly replied, "Let me explain, please give me a chance." "No need," I replied. "Our partnership is over." 3 months later, I sat alone in a cafe on the waterfront, gazing at the skyscrapers on the opposite bank of the East. A lot had happened in those 3 months. After his death, the Lou was carved up by various parties, eventually taken over by Ethan's uncle, but it was a shadow of its former self. Oliver's company also saw its stock plummet after a market manipulation scandal came to light, and he himself was under investigation. As for me, I resigned from my position as CEO of the GU and embarked on my own entrepreneurial journey, a consulting firm focused on women's career development. "Is this seat taken?" a familiar voice asked. I looked up and saw Oliver standing before me. He looked much more haggard than 3 months prior, but the sharp glint in his eyes remained. "Help yourself," I said coldly. Oliver sat down, silent for a moment. Are you doing well? Not bad. I hear you started your own company? Yes, a small startup. Oliver smiled. I'm sure it will be very successful. You've always been exceptional. I looked at him and asked directly, what do you want? To say goodbye, Oliver said openly. I'm going to America for a while to deal with some legal issues. Oh? Being sued? Something like that, Oliver said with a wry smile. But more importantly, I wanted to tell you I'm sorry in person. I did tell many lies, but my feelings for you were real. I shook my head. Oliver, I no longer believe in what's real or fake. This experience taught me one thing. Always believe what you see, not what you hear. So what did you see? I saw two men, willing to hurt innocent people for their own gain. I looked directly into his eyes. I also saw myself being deceived, almost repeating the same mistakes. Oliver was silent for a long time, finally sighing. You're right. We were both wrong. But I hope you know, no matter the initial motive, I truly fell in love with you. Perhaps, I said noncommittally. But that no longer matters. Oliver stood up to leave, but then paused. Sophia, I hope one day you find true happiness. Thank you, I will, I replied calmly. But it won't be with you. Nor with anyone like you too. Oliver gave a faint smile and turned to leave. Watching his figure disappear into the crowd, I felt a strange sense of relief. 2 days later, I received a letter. I don't ask for your forgiveness. I only wish for your happiness. You deserve all the best. Forever yours, Oliver. I folded the letter and put it in the deepest part of my drawer, then called Robert. Dad, I want to talk to you about the future development of the GU. Life had to go on, and this time I would firmly hold it in my own hands. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.